Welcome to the deep dive, where we take that huge stack of information, the articles, the research, the real world stuff, and we break it all down for you into something manageable, something you can actually use.
Exactly. And today we are jumping headfirst into an experience that is, well, it's pretty much universal, isn't it? The language of retail and commerce.
It really is. And it's so easy to think, shopping is simple. But the words, the phrases, from the second you walk into a store to when you're thinking about a return, it's just so specialized.
It's incredibly layered. And it doesn't matter if you're buying groceries or, a new phone or even trying to negotiate a price. The words you choose, that precision, can really make or break the whole experience. It's about your confidence.
Absolutely. So that's our mission for this deep dive. We want to give you a really comprehensive look at the essential vocabulary, those little nuanced expressions, and crucially, the cultural context you need.
Right, so you can navigate any English-speaking shopping situation.
We're pulling together terms from physical stores, from e-commerce, and even getting into the tricky stuff like price negotiation and tech specs. This is basically your fast track.
And we're going to spend a good amount of time on the what I'd call the linguistic landmines, especially the differences between U.S. and U.K. English.
Oh, that's a big one.
It is. Knowing whether to ask for a trolley or a shopping cart, or if you're talking to a sales associate or a shop assistant, it seems small, but it stops that miscommunication cold. It shows you know what you're talking about.
Okay, so let's do it. Let's unpack all of this. We're going way beyond just simple definitions today. We're getting into the strategy and even the psychology behind it all. All right, let's start at the very beginning. The point of entry. You walk through the doors of a store, and pretty much right away you see staff. So who are these people, and what are the kind of subtle differences in what we call them?
Well, they're your first point of contact. And in the U.S., the most common titles you'll hear are sales associate or maybe store clerk.
Associate feels a bit more formal, doesn't it? It suggests they're there to assist you, maybe they have some product knowledge.
Exactly. But then you hop over to the UK, and the term almost always shifts to shop assistant. It's the same job, fundamentally.
Right, helping the customer.
But the word choice is a dead giveaway for where you are. And it's important because it sort of frames the whole interaction that's about to happen.
That's a good point. Does the language in a store with assistants feel different from one with associates?
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, the sources suggest that the title can reflect the level of specialized knowledge you're supposed to expect. A really high-end boutique in New York might still say associate, but they might pair it with something like stylist or consultant.
Implying a higher skill set than just a general cloak.
Precisely. The title itself is part of the store's brand, part of the marketing.
So, okay, you've spotted the person. Now comes that first greeting, which kind of defines the whole interaction. And we've seen two main styles, right? The very
Yeah.
polished, professional one, and then the more casual, get-right-to-it approach.
Exactly. The professional one is designed to be really inviting, but not pushy. You'll hear it in places where the staff have a bit more time. They use these polite modal verbs like, may I help you? Or even more formal, can I assist you with anything today?
It signals, I'm here, but I'm not going to pressure you.
Right. And then you have the casual version, which is much more about speed and efficiency. How can I help you? That's the classic. Or the more direct, are you looking for something specific?
Which almost assumes you have a goal. You're not just there to look around.
And that's where the challenge comes in for you as the customer. You have to pick the right response. If you actually need help, like you're looking for a size 12 black blazer, you've got to jump on that opportunity.
So in that case, you're direct. Yes, please. I'm looking for, and then you give them the detail. I'm looking for those new noise-canceling headphones, the ones that came out last month.
Specificity is everything there. It saves everyone time.
But
Oh,
what's probably more common is that you're not looking for anything specific. You're just looking. And this is where you need a bit of confidence. You have to decline their help politely, but, firmly. Make it clear you're not on the hook to buy something.
the go-to phrase is just, I'm just browsing, thank you. Short, polite, gets the message across.
But what if they're a bit persistent? Or what if you think you might need help later? I feel like the longer response is a bit safer.
It is, yeah. The more diplomatic choice is, I'm just looking around, but I'll let you know if I need anything. It does a few things at once. It acknowledges them. It tells them you'll come find them if you need them. And it closes that little conversation loop without being rude at all. It's perfect social management.
Okay, so we're past the greeting. Now, the store itself. The type of store dictates the kind of language we're going to use. Let's dig into the different retail formats because each one signals a different kind of experience.
Let's start with the biggest one, department stores. I mean, the name says it all. They're these huge stores broken up into different sections or departments, clothing, electronics, cosmetics, everything under one roof.
The idea is variety and convenience.
Exactly. They're sort of the big, high-volume generalists. Then you have the opposite, really. Boutiques.
Right. And the language around boutiques is so different. It's all about curation, exclusivity.
Totally. They're much smaller, very specialized. They might sell unique fashion or artisan jewelry, something you can't find everywhere. And your conversation there is less about price and more about, the design or the craftsmanship.
That's a huge distinction. In a boutique, you're talking about an artist or maybe a limited inventory. You'd never use those words in a giant discount store.
Not at all. Then you have what's probably most familiar to everyone, chain stores. Your Gaps, your Zaras. The whole appeal is that they are consistent. You know what you're getting, what the prices are like, no matter what city you're in.
And last but not least, the one for the strategic shopper, outlet stores.
Ah, yes. These are built from the ground up to offer discounts. They're selling last season's stuff or maybe items with tiny flaws or just overstock. The whole point of an outlet is the promise of a great deal.
Which is the perfect segue into the language of deals. Because no matter what kind of store you're in, finding a discount is, that's a core part of the whole experience.
The most basic word is sale. If something's on sale, its price is reduced, usually for a limited time. It's the big umbrella term.
Then we get more specific, more mathematical with percentage off. The classic is 50% off. And for you as a learner, this is about more than just the definition. It's about doing that quick mental math. You see that sign and you immediately try to figure out the final price.
It's very transparent. But then the psychology gets really interesting with BOGO.
BOGO, the abbreviation for buy one, get one free. And it is so, so effective. Why does that work so well? It feels like more than just saving money.
Oh, it's pure behavioral economics.
Yeah.
BOGO isn't just about making something cheaper. It's about what feels like a game. It makes you buy more, which is great for the store's inventory. When your brain sees the word free, it often just starts calculating the actual cost per item.
It feels like you've earned something for free just by buying the first one.
Precisely. A smart shopper will look at the unit cost and ask, do I actually need 2 of these? But for a lot of people, that psychological pull is just, it's too strong.
Okay, so we're in the store, we've navigated the greeting, we know what kind of place we're in. Now let's get into the specifics of talking about the products themselves. And let's start with clothing, because it's full of descriptive language.
It really is. And with clothes, so much of the conversation is about one thing, fit. Before you buy anything, you have to try it on. And you do that in the designated area, which we call either the fitting room or the changing room.
Are they interchangeable?
Pretty much, yeah. Both are totally understood everywhere. So if you can't find it, you just ask, where are the fitting rooms? Nice and simple. And once you've got the clothes, it's polite to ask, may I try this on?
Right. Now, let's talk about the absolute minefield that is sizing. This is where everything gets so confusing.
It's where culture and manufacturing just collide. So in the U.S., women's sizing is usually those small numbers, 2, 4, 6, 8. And then for everyone, you have the letters S, M, L, XL, small, medium, large, extra large.
And this is the huge warning that all our sources emphasize, UK and European sizing is completely different. A US 8 is what, a UK 12?
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah.
You just cannot trust the number on the tag unless you know where it's from.
Yeah.
And that's why you have to know the vocabulary for describing the fit.
Exactly. When the number lets you down, you need the words. So if something is just too small, it's constricting, you can't zip it up.
You say, this is too tight.
And the opposite, if the sleeves are way too long or it's just baggy around the middle,
Then this is too loose. But we can go deeper than that. Let's talk about the style of the fit.
yes. Because an associate might ask you, are you looking for a slim fit or a relaxed fit?
Right. And slim fit means it's cut closer to the body. Relaxed fit means there's more room, it's more comfortable. And for, say, a business suit, you might hear words like tailored or structured, which means it's been shaped to give a very sharp professional look.
Knowing those terms is such a huge upgrade. It lets you make those next requests so much more clearly. Do you have it in a larger size, or could I try a smaller size? The associate knows exactly what to look for.
And then beyond the fit, you need to be able to talk about what it's made of, the material. It affects the feel, how you wash it, and definitely the price. So we need to know things like cotton, wool, silk, polyester.
Leather, denim, and linen. Okay, I sometimes get linen and cotton mixed up, which I'm trying to describe, like a summer shirt. What's the key conversational difference?
I'd say it's about texture and how it hangs.
Mhm.
Linen often has a slightly rougher texture, bit of a natural shine, and most importantly, the phrase everyone uses is that it creases easily or wrinkles easily.
Yeah.
Cotton is usually softer, and it holds better to daily washing. So you could say something like, I want something breathable like linen, but maybe without the high wrinkle factor.
Yeah.
That shows real fluency.
Okay, let's talk about how things look. Patterns. So if I want something with parallel lines, that's striped.
Yes. But if you want intersecting lines, squares of color, the word changes depending on where you are.
This is another one of those US UK things, isn't it?
It is. In the US, you'd probably call that pattern plaid. But in the UK, the more common term is checked. And if it's that specific Scottish pattern, the very precise word is tartan.
Good to know. We also have dots or polka dots, then floral for flowers, and the simplest of all, solid, meaning one single color.
But even there, you can add more detail. You can talk about the finish. Is it a solid color with a matte finish, or does it have a slight sheen?
So you go from asking for a blue shirt to a navy slim fit cotton shirt with a subtle pinstripe pattern. That's a huge difference.
It's a world of difference.
All right, let's switch gears to the supermarket. It seems simpler, but it definitely has its own vocabulary, especially with those regional differences, starting with what we use to carry everything.
Right. If you're doing a big shop in the US, you grab a shopping cart.
But in the UK, you're looking for a trolley.
Exactly. It's a basic one, but
Uh-huh.
it's essential. Now, if you're just grabbing a few things, the word is the same everywhere. A basket.
Thank goodness for that. Once you're inside, the layout is pretty standard, and knowing the names of the sections is just about being efficient.
The first place many people go is the produce section. That's where you find all the fresh fruits and vegetables. And you'll see other words on signs there, like organic or locally sourced.
Then you have the cold parts of the store, the dairy section for milk, cheese, yogurt.
The meat department, where you might find a butcher to give you custom cuts of poultry, beef, or pork. Of course, the bakery, for all the fresh bread and cakes.
Okay, but let's go a little deeper into the aisles themselves. What language do we use when we're comparing two similar items, say, two boxes of cereal?
You want to look for the unit price. This is so important. It's the cost per ounce or per gram, whatever the measurement is. It's usually in tiny print next to the main price.
So you could ask a clerk, where can I find the unit price on the shelf? That shows you're making a smart financial choice, not just grabbing the biggest box.
Precisely. And for things that go bad, you need to be looking for the expiration date or the best by date. You might find yourself asking, which of these has the latest expiration date to make sure you're getting the freshest one?
This really moves us into the whole idea of assessing value, which is so important for bigger purchases like electronics. We need a whole range of words to explain why we think a price is fair or not.
On the positive side, you have words like affordable or reasonably priced. That means the price feels right for the quality you're getting. You're happy to pay it.
And on the negative side, there's expensive, which is just, it costs a lot. But the more judgmental term is overpriced.
Exactly. Overpriced means you feel like the cost is just too high for what it is. It's not worth it.
And the absolute best case scenario, the shopper's dream, is finding a bargain.
A bargain is when something is so much cheaper than you expected for its quality. It's that feeling of, wow, I can't believe I got this for only $50. It's an absolute bargain.
This whole idea of comparing prices leads us to price matching. This is a great policy to know about. It's where a store will match a competitor's lower price on the same item.
And the way you ask about it has to be polite, but direct. You need to have your proof ready. So you'd say, I saw this advertised for less at another store. Do you offer price matching?
Right. And what if you're stuck between two similar products, say two different TVs? How do you get the staff's expert opinion?
You start with a broad question. What would you recommend? Then you can get more specific. Which one is more popular? Or what's the real difference between these two that explains the price difference?
Those questions show you're an engaged buyer. Now, for those big purchases, we have to talk about reliability. We need to be crystal clear on the difference between a warranty and a guarantee.
This is so important. A guarantee is often a more general promise. The seller is saying the product will work as it should, and if not, they'll sort it out, fix it, replace it, give you a refund. It's a marketing tool to build trust.
But a warranty is different.
A warranty is a formal written contract. It's specific. It tells you exactly what's covered, parts, labor, and for how long. It's the legal document.
So knowing that, you can ask the right questions. Does this come with a 1-year manufacturer's warranty? Or if they try to sell you an extended one, what does the extended warranty cover that the standard one doesn't?
And finally, especially for tech, you need the language of specifications or specs. These are the technical details that determine the real value. You need to know terms like processor, RAM, solid-state drive or SSD, and battery life.
Let's make that practical. How would a savvy buyer use those terms in a conversation? How would I ask if a laptop is going to last me a few years?
You could say something like, I do a lot of video editing. For my needs, should I prioritize more RAM or a faster processor? Is 16 gigs of RAM enough to future-proof this machine for the next 3 or 4 years?
Ah, okay. That shows you understand how the parts relate to what you actually do. That's the difference between just reading a label and really consulting with an expert.
A huge difference.
Okay, the decision's been made, the product's in hand. We're at the final stage in the store, the transaction. And this is where those geographical differences pop up again.
You do. The place you go to pay. It's a clear US-UK split. In the US, you go to the checkout counter or the register.
And in the UK, you're heading to the till, but the person helping you is a cashier everywhere, right?
That's right. The cashier's script is very predictable. It's all about efficiency. First question is always about payment. Will this be cash or card?
Then the second question is about bags. Would you like a bag? And you need to be aware that in many places now, you have to pay for plastic bags.
So you should be ready to say, no thanks, I have my own, or yes, please. Then comes the upsell, or rather, the attempt to get you to come back. Do you have a loyalty card? Or are you a member of our rewards program?
Let's talk about those rewards programs. Why are they so powerful? What's so appealing about getting 1 point for every dollar you spend?
It's that feeling of investment. You're not just buying something for today. You're building up points for a future discount. It taps into this mental accounting where you feel like this purchase is already contributing to the next one.
So when you finally get that $10 coupon, it feels like free money.
It feels like free money, even though you had to spend $100 to earn it. It's brilliant psychology.
Okay, and let's touch on the discount documents again. In the US, if you have a piece of paper or a code for a discount, it's a coupon.
And in the UK, it's a voucher. Same thing, different name. You just hand it to the cashier and say, I have a voucher for 20% off. Can I use this?
All right, payment's done. Now you get the single most important piece of paper in the whole process, the receipt.
The receipt is your proof of purchase. I can't stress this enough. Always, always keep it. You will need it for any return, any exchange, any warranty claim. You should always ask for it. Could I have the receipt, please? Or more and more, can you email the receipt to me?
And with that receipt, you need to understand the store's return policy. That's the set of rules for bringing things back.
And these policies are very specific. They'll have a strict time frame, 30 days, 60 days. They'll specify the item's condition, must be unworn, tags must be attached. For electronics, you might even see a restocking fee if you've opened the box.
I've also seen store credit-only policies. What does that mean?
That means you're not getting your money back. Not to your credit card, not as cash. They'll give you the value of the item on a gift card to use only in their store. And the harshest policy of all is all sales are final.
Which means no returns, no exchanges, no matter what.
Exactly. But assuming the policy is more generous, how do you actually start the return?
The phrase is simple. I'd like to return this item. Or if you just want a different one, can I exchange it for a different size?
And then you have to be ready to give a reason.
Right. And the reasons can be simple, like, I changed my mind, or functional, like, it doesn't fit.
And if the product is broken, the word to use is defective. This is defective. If it was a present, you can say, I received it as a gift, and it's not really my style. Giving a clear reason helps the store and makes the process smoother.
Let's pause for a second and really break down a scenario from the sources, because it ties all this vocabulary together. The clothing store example.
Great idea. So the customer comes in with a clear goal. They need a dress for a wedding, but they use these great descriptive words. Elegant, but not too formal. That's so much better than just saying a party dress.
Totally. The sales associate helps, and the customer confidently asks for her size 8, and knows to ask, where are the fitting rooms? It's efficient.
Then, after trying it on, she gives really precise feedback. She starts with the positive, I love the navy dress, and then gives the specific problem. But it's a bit tight around the waist.
That's so helpful. It makes her request for the next size up a logical next step, not a complaint.
And this is where the associate pivots from service to sales. The dress is $120, but the associate immediately says it's currently 25% off.
Reinforcing the value. bringing the price down to $90.
And then comes the loyalty program pitch. And it's just perfect. The associate explains the system. 1 point per dollar, and 100 points gets you a $10 coupon.
But the brilliant part is that the associate does the math for the customer. You're spending $90 today, so you'll have 90 points. You're only 10 points away from your first reward.
It's genius. It taps into that desire to complete the set. It makes you want to buy a little something extra to get those last 10 points, and it practically guarantees you'll come back to spend that coupon.
The whole exchange ends with the essentials. The customer takes the bag, asks for the receipt, and the associate clearly states the return policy. 60 days with the receipt and tags attached. That short conversation just perfectly shows how all these concepts work together in real time.
It's a masterclass.
Okay, we have the foundation down. But to be truly fluent, we need to add in some of the more advanced stuff, the idioms, the online world, and the unwritten rules of shopping etiquette.
Let's start with expressions about the act of shopping itself. First, window shopping. That's just looking at things in store windows for fun, with no real plan to buy anything.
And the opposite of that would be a shopping spree.
Right. A shopping spree is when you go out and buy a lot of things, often spending more than you planned. It has a feeling of excitement or, celebration around it.
Now, we have to go back to that crucial phrase, on sale, because this is such a big cultural tripwire. In American English, on sale means one thing.
It means it's discounted. Simple.
But in British English, it's ambiguous. So if I'm in London and I ask if something is on sale and they say yes, how do I know for sure if it's cheaper? What's the follow-up question?
The magic phrase is it in the sale? That little word, in. If they say yes, then it's discounted. If not, it just means it's available to buy. Knowing that preposition saves you a lot of confusion.
Okay, let's talk psychology. After a big purchase, sometimes you feel buyer's remorse.
Ugh, yes.
Yeah.
That feeling of regret or anxiety after you've spent a lot of money. Did I really need that? Was it worth it?
And the sort of funny response to that is retail therapy.
Right, the joke that you're shopping to make yourself feel better or deal with stress. It's a nod to the fact that shopping can be emotional, not just practical.
When we're talking about value, we can be more sophisticated than just cheap or expensive. If the quality is fantastic for the price, we say it's good value for money.
And if you feel completely cheated, like the quality was terrible for the high price, you call it a ripoff. That's a strong one. $10 for that tiny coffee. What a ripoff.
And a smart consumer will always shop around.
Which just means comparing prices and products at different stores before you decide to buy.
For the best quality items, especially with technology, we use phrases like top of the line or state of the art.
They both mean it's the newest, most advanced, best version available. And finally, in the grocery store, we have the difference between a brand name product and a generic or store brand.
The brand name has the marketing, the reputation, and usually the higher price. The store brand is the cheaper alternative.
Often made in the very same factory, just with a different label.
Okay, the world has gone digital, so we have to cover online shopping vocabulary.
Absolutely non-negotiable for modern life. The basic actions are simple. You add to cart, you go to checkout. After you pay, you're dealing with shipping and delivery.
And you'll get two key pieces of information. An order confirmation, which is your digital receipt, and then a tracking number.
That tracking number is key. It lets you see where your package is, and they'll usually give you an estimated delivery date.
But before you even click Add to Cart, you're doing research. And that means you're looking at product reviews and customer ratings.
That star system is so important. You have to learn to read it. Anything above 4.5 stars is usually great. But if you see something with 3.5 stars, you need to read the negative reviews to find out why. What are the hidden problems?
When you get to the shipping options, you have choices. There's slow and cheap, which is standard shipping.
Then there's faster and more expensive. Express shipping or next-day delivery. And the one everyone wants, free shipping.
What about a newer trend where you buy online but go to the store yourself?
That's called click and collect. You order online, and then you just pop into the physical store to pick it up. You skip the shipping fees and the waiting.
Let's talk about the delicate art of negotiation, bargaining or haggling. When can you do it, and when is it just awkward?
This is a huge cultural point. In places like flea markets, garage sales, or maybe small independent shops where the owner is right there, it's often acceptable.
But the absolute rule is you do not try to haggle in a big chain store in the US or the UK. The prices are fixed.
The person at the cash register has no power to change the price. Trying to bargain there is just seen as rude and, frankly, a bit weird.
So if you're in the place where it is okay, what's a polite way to start?
You don't make a demand. You ask a question, is this your best price? Or a softer approach, would you be willing to go a little lower?
And timing your shopping can get you the best deals. We have these huge special sales days. In the US, it's all about Black Friday and Cyber Monday.
And in the UK and other places, the big one is Boxing Day, the day after Christmas. These are days defined by massive discounts.
Outside of those big holidays, you have clearance sales. This is when a store is trying to get rid of old inventory, like selling winter coats in the middle of spring.
And that's where you see the biggest discounts, up to 70% off, because their goal is just to free up space.
Stores also encourage impulse buying.
Oh, yeah. All those little cheap, tempting items right by the checkout. The candy, the magazines. They're placed there strategically to get you to buy them without thinking while you're waiting in line.
What happens if an item on sale runs out of stock? If there are no more, it's sold out.
Right. But if it was a sale item, a really good store might offer you a rain check.
Explain that.
A rain check is a promise from the store to sell you that item at the sale price later, once they get more in stock, even if the sale is over by then. Asking for one shows you're a really savvy shopper.
And for really big purchases, like a car or furniture, you might encounter installment plans.
Right, where you pay for the item over several months instead of all at once. And then there's the older system, layaway, where you make payments and the store holds on to the item until you've paid it off completely.
Okay, let's wrap this up by talking about etiquette, the unwritten rules. Language is one thing, but behavior is another.
And politeness is number one. Always, always use please and thank you with store staff. It's just basic courtesy.
And it's so important to remember, there is no obligation to buy. If a sales associate helps you for 20 minutes and you still don't want the item, that's okay.
You just need to be polite about it. Thank you so much for your help, but I think I'm going to think about it. It's a perfectly acceptable thing to say.
A really important cultural note, tipping is not required in regular retail. You don't tip the cashier.
Not at all. And in the fitting room, there are rules. Don't leave the clothes in a pile on the floor. At least put them back on the hangers and give them to an employee.
What if you break something by accident?
You have to tell an employee right away. Just be honest about it. Most of the time, they'll be understanding.
And especially during those crazy sales like Black Friday, patience is a virtue. The lines will be long, the staff will be stressed. Just be calm.
And finally, if you ask someone to check for an item, know their lingo. They might say, let me check in the back, which means stock room, or let me ask my manager. Or most likely these days, let me look that up for you on their computer.
Wow. We have really done a deep dive today. We've covered the entire shopping journey from hello to the return counter and all those US and UK differences in between.
We really have. We've looked at the financial terms, the psychology behind why we buy, and the cultural rules you need to communicate with confidence.
So the knowledge is all here, but now it's about practice. We really want to encourage you to go out and try using this language. Even if you're just window shopping, mentally practice asking, do you have this in a relaxed fit?
And consume English language media. Watch product reviews on YouTube. Listen to how native speakers use phrases like rip off or top of the line in a natural conversation. That exposure is what really makes it stick.
So what's the big picture here? We've seen that one shopping trip isn't just a transaction. It touches on economics, on logistics, on psychology.
So the next time you're in a store and you're comparing that top-of-the-line product with the generic one, think about more than just the price. Think about how the language itself is shaping how you feel about its value.
That's a great point. How much of it is about the actual product and how much is about the words we use to describe it, to sell it, and to think about it, understanding that difference.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate takeaway from this deep dive.
It really is.